Hello, I'm Only Jax. I've been gone for however long, and well, now I'm a PNG tuber. A few months ago, a YouTuber by the name of Just a Robot was accused of defending a groomer, and well, I'm here to make the case that at no point did he defend a groomer, and that he is actually the greatest person to ever live. We should all actually be living through his example. I'm just kidding. Let's do an apology cop. Alright, let's do this. Just a robot, you have the right to remain silent, and you have chosen not to exercise it. And in doing so, anything you've said can and will likely be used against you by me. If you decide that you disagree with my assessment of any of your statements, it is your right to argue with me about it in the comment section of this video at any time. Back in October of 2024, Just a Robot posted a now infamous video called the CineBear03 Rabbit Hole, wherein he claims that art YouTuber CineBear03 is not, in fact, a groomer. Wait, hold on, I feel like we're missing some context. Okay, so back in September of 2024, a Google Doc was released showing evidence of art YouTuber CineBear03 grooming a minor and/or minors, both in a Discord server as well as Discord DMs. The original document is over 100 pages long, and this video isn't about Cine, so if you want to take a look at it for yourself, link is in the description. Anyway, so after this doc was released, CineBear went and made a video where they admitted to the grooming, as well as admitted to that, like, this isn't the first time they've done this. They've done this before. They're a repeat offender. Later, Cine deleted the video, but the commentary community did what it does and started chiming in on the situation and dunking on Cine. Just a Robot, the subject of this video, was also working on a video dunking on Cine until, well, his perspective changed. At some point, Just a Robot decided to be CineBear's hero and release his video called the CineBear03 Rabbit Hole, wherein he claims that CineBear03 is not, in fact, a groomer. Basically, in his video, he makes the claim that Cine is just a lewd artist, and that despite her actions being horrible, inappropriate, and an optics nightmare, Cine is not a groomer. Much of his evidence for this is that, well, in his words, Cine was not trying to get with any of these minors that she was interacting with. Trying to get with minors or not, sending not safe for work images to children both in a public Discord server as well as their DMs when you know the person receiving them is a minor is grooming. Sorry, not gonna argue with you on this. So, Just a Robot, or Jar, which we'll be calling him for the rest of this video, began receiving backlash from pretty much everybody. There's too much to recap here, but there's evidence that Jar was the one to suggest that Cine take down her original confession video where she confesses to grooming not one but more than one minor, as well as there's evidence to suggest that he knowingly did not peer through all the available evidence that showed Cine was very clearly a groomer and that she knew exactly what she was doing. Months later, in January 2025, Jar posts this video, Response with Receipts, where he apologizes for the Cine situation and his defense of her, and then also addresses a bunch of other stuff that frankly doesn't really matter. Anyway, so with that background, it's time to get into the apology. I'm gonna be charitable to Jar and only grade his apology based off of the 14 minutes that actually has the apology in it. The video is around 48 minutes long, and I really don't want to go through 48 minutes of, well, I guess it's only 34 minutes, but we're not going through 34 minutes where he debunks a fart fetish. Anyway, so strap in, draw your furry art or whatever it is that you freaks do while you're watching me, and enjoy the ride.
Hey everyone, it's been a while. In fact, it's been a couple of months. These last few months have been very chaotic to say the least, and I know a lot of you have many questions. You're curious about my side of the story. Don't worry, I brought receipts. I know most people won't care for what I have to say. The tea has gone cold and they've moved on to talking about people like Mudahar and Nuxtaku. But at least you're here watching this unmonetized video of mine, so you don't have to even worry about giving me money by viewing this video. Or maybe you're just viewing this through someone else's live stream who's looking to farm a few more clicks off of me.
I would just like to add that I'm not exactly sure where the stigma for monetizing apology or response videos came from, but collectively, as a YouTube audience, we need to stop. Like, for real, who cares? I understand that we, as an audience, may not exactly be stoked when a creator profits off of something horrible that they did and then continues to profit off of it during their response or apology, but it's just silly. Because now, one of the standards of a good apology is that it isn't monetized. And while this seems like a good thing at first, when you really think about it, it's just an easy way for whoever to score some humility points with the audience, some brownie points if you will. Monetize it or don't, I don't care. But if you're gonna go out of your way to mention that it's not monetized, you'll lose any sort of goodwill or sincerity with me that you otherwise might have had. A lot of these guys make videos for a living, and if I mess something up while I'm on the clock at my 9 to 5 and then I get called into my manager's office to explain and apologize for what I did, I'm still on the clock. And I'm being paid the entire time. Not sure why we would treat these things any differently. Mentioning the fact that your video is not monetized is just a cheap, or expensive, depending on how you look at it, way to get some easy sympathy while trying to force a sense of sincerity. It's a standard that the audience set, but it's at present outdated and serves no real purpose for the audience anymore.
I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I fucked up. I really dropped the ball on this situation. I can't even say that I was manipulated or enabled to get involved with the cine drama, because both my roommate and my girlfriend and even my neighbor told me that what I was doing was stupid and reckless. Even I knew that defending someone from the art CC with allegations this serious would more than likely go bad for me.
He's gonna be adding a lot of text and whatnot throughout the video, and that's fine, I guess, but it comes off as low effort in that the requisite time wasn't given to this video. If it's important enough to need to add in as a text wall, then it's important enough to go back and re-record. Also, he's gonna use his dyslexia as an excuse and shield from criticism a lot throughout this video, but notice this last sentence. Also, yes, I will be adding text throughout this video, so people are less likely to misunderstanding me. Like, my layman's knowledge of dyslexia could maybe explain away the misspelling, but I'm not sure what went wrong here with the syntax. Who is misunderstanding? I knew her as Mrs. Understanding. Did Mr. and Mrs. Understanding get a divorce? Oh, he meant misunderstand. Gotcha. It's a little mean, I know, but you get the point. If it's worth a text wall in post, it's worth a re-recording. Jar took 4 months to release this video. 12 hours, more like 1 hour, half an hour of watching the final edit for mistakes or mistakes could have avoided this. It's just another one of those things that shines a light on this being a pretty low effort apology / response, dressed up as a thoughtful one.
I, along with everybody who was close to me, expected me to get some backlash, but not this much backlash. They're not even telling me they told me so because they didn't even expect it to get this bad.
Tell me that you and everyone in your circle doesn't have a clear understanding of how defending a groomer is unforgivable and one of the worst things you can do both online and in general, without telling me that you and everyone in your circle doesn't have a clear understanding of how defending a groomer is unforgivable and is one of the worst things you can do both online and in general.
But before I get into what's going on and all the allegations against me, I would like to apologize to a few people. I would like to apologize to my girlfriend, my roommate, and my neighbor for not listening to them. You guys know me best, and you were looking out for my best interest. I should have listened to you guys, and now I'm facing the consequences for my actions. I would like to apologize to my editor Lorenzo for any backlash he might have faced from editing my video. Even you were worried about things going wrong after I released the video, and I'm sorry for making you edit it in the first place. I hope the extra money I gave you can make up for my mistake.
I was just gonna skip this part of the video entirely, but here we have a second bit of information, unneeded, geared towards gaining sympathy. The apologies here are better said in private, no? I mean, if the goal is to just get right with the people you're apologizing to, the fuck does that gotta do with us, the audience? The only reason to put the apology to the editor in, along with bringing up how Jar paid the editor extra money due to the controversial nature of this video, is more to show the audience how generous and good-natured Jar is, rather than any sort of heartfelt apology to the editor. I'm not saying that Jar's plan was to bring all this stuff up because surely the audience will like this. I don't think he's smart enough to have figured that out, but what I am saying is that that's what's happening here. Maybe unbeknownst to Jar. Dang, we're not even 2 minutes in yet.
I would like to apologize to Eno for how my video affected her. You were so young, and no one should go through that at your age. Along with anyone who might have been made uncomfortable by things I've said in my video. And I'm also sorry to my fans for disappointing them. What I did was incredibly stupid, and I understand if you unsubscribed from me.
So we could honestly end the video here, and if we did, you would probably get a higher score on just this portion rather than continuing for the next 46 minutes. But no. He just had to keep yapping. I'm gonna cut the next part out and skip straight to him addressing the Cindy situation.
The biggest problem with my video draft about Cindy by far is how soft I went on her. I regret that even more now due to the fact that new information has been released about Cindy. I don't like being lied to, especially by people who wanted my help, but I fell for what she told me, being the gullible fool that I am. I didn't believe that Cindy is a pedo, and I still don't believe she's a pedo. I don't believe she had a desire to get with the minor or exchange nudes with the minor. I never said what Cindy did was okay. I said it was wildly inappropriate and an optics nightmare. Usually I would expect that if someone was grooming, that the groomer would intend to get with them. At least this was my thought process at the time, based off of all the other grooming cases I have seen.
All right, let's get something straight here. You do not have to be trying to do dirty bedroom stuff in real life for you to be a groomer or a PDF. You don't even have to be trying to meet up with them to be a groomer or a PDF. The moment an adult knowingly does anything sexual, like sharing NSFW art with a minor, you are both a groomer and a PDF. Now, that's not to say all PDFs are groomers. Some PDFs are in prison. Some even call themselves non-offending PDFs. And as much as their mere existence makes me sick in how bad I wish we could go all Minority Report on their asses, I would at least be willing to maybe consider that if they hadn't partaken in doing anything sexual with a minor, both in real life and online, that okay, maybe you're not a groomer. Definitely a PDF and you should be locked up, but sure, not a groomer. Maybe, probably. I still don't like the thought, but yuck. You cannot, however, be a groomer without being a PDF. That's what JAR fails to understand. The barrier for entry to being a PDF is super low these days, and I think that's a great thing. In the original drama, JAR said that sending lewd and NSFW artwork was just something Cindy did to everyone. Okay, sure, let's assume that that's the case, as there is good evidence for it. So, Cindy sends lewd and not safe for work artwork to everybody, including people she knows are minors. JAR says, see, she's even doing it with adults, so she's not a PDF. And I just want you to consider that that is the exact same argument as when someone says, I'm not racist, I hate every race equally. No, sorry, that doesn't mean you're not a racist, it just means that you're consistent about it, but you're definitely still a racist. Oh, I'm not a PDF, I interact sexually with people of all ages. Nope, sorry, that doesn't mean you're not a PDF, it just means that along with being a general degenerate, you're also a PDF. It's really disappointing for JAR to still be dying on this hill. It's a common trend, especially with YouTuber apologies. Admit a little and deny a lot. It's just so, it's always disgusting. Either really understand and atone for what you did, or don't bother apologizing. Either way, just be consistent.
I didn't believe she did what she did out of malicious intent or to hurt anyone. I really believe that she was just incredibly socially retarded.
Keep this in mind as being retarded, autistic, dyslexic, anxious, and/or an insomniac is a valid shield from criticism, at least according to JAR.
Along with the fact that I really wanted to believe that she wasn't as guilty as everyone was painting her out to be. Along with the fact that she was encouraged to draw suggestive artwork when she was 14. That's why I took pity on her, because I thought what she did was out of stupidity and not malice. I truly believed that I was onto something comparing this to the Pyro drama, because Pyro did learn of Ivory's age when they turned 16, not when they were 15, and he said, and I quote here, shouldn't have continued the furry stuff with him, along with the fact that Pyro got a 15-year-old who he knew was 15 to draw a thicker, lewder, sexier version of his avatar. I thought to myself, well, if people are okay with Pyro doing this, then why aren't they okay with Cindy's action? I think we all know that if the Pyro drama started with Pyro immediately uploading a video saying, guys, I admit to it, I groomed a minor, and I knew what I was doing was wrong, that drama would have gone completely differently. And I believe that Cindy was gaslit into doing that by her roommate who goes by it pronouns. When I saw Kumo coming to the same conclusions about Cindy that I came to, along with witnessing him beating a few people in debates about it, I thought he might have been onto something, so I decided that I should help her as well. I now realize that not all the chat logs were released between Ivory and Pyro in the same way they were for Cindy. Also, I believe Cindy released the full logs herself, but I wasn't aware of that when I was working on my video. At least I don't think I was.
So this is verifiably false. JAR not only was aware of the chat logs being released before he published his video, and I don't mean before he published it, I mean before it was leaked. Check out this clip from Chud Logic stream.
We can see all of Cindy Bear's logs. We can see every single message. Did you look at the messages between Cindy Bear and Eno in full?
Admittedly, no. I skimmed through a lot. I know that makes me a very big hypocrite, because I was like, oh, people didn't look through this carefully. And I saw some people like looking through it, but like it was just like, I looked through the first doc pretty carefully, but the first doc just had so much nothing, just like, oh, her character is in a sexy pose. I'm like, okay.
So let me get this straight. You had access. You knew it was available because it was in the reply. Cinebear had put the link to the full logs that was available to you. Before you made this video, hardcore defending Cinebear, you didn't even go over the full logs in any way.
I was going to. I was planning to do that. I just didn't expect Kumo to leak my video.
So, I mean, the best case is that he forgot that he knowingly just skimmed through all of the available evidence and didn't go through all of it before committing to white knighting for a groomer. Worst case is that it's just a flat out lie. Again, for the sole purpose of excusing and downplaying his actions. I'll let you be the judge, but spoiler alert, I think he knows it's a lie.
On top of that, Cine is a repeat offender to a very disturbing degree. It would be like Pyro getting accused of everything he did, with the Call Me Carson allegations on top of that, along with a bunch of other things.
Cine being a repeat offender was documented in the original Google Doc exposing her. It was also made evident in Cine's confession video.
I've been an irresponsible content creator, and I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a 14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again.
Okay, heavily insinuated that she was a repeat offender. Her video just makes it seem like she's done this multiple times, with her saying inappropriate towards her fans, again, of all ages, and then her making a mental note to not become friends with minors again. It makes it heavily insinuates that she's done this before. See how I didn't put this in a text while I re-recorded it? Sure, I used a PNG tuber for it, but you know, still, I re-recorded it. So again, why bring this up as if it's new information to you? You knew she was a repeat offender. Her confession video told you she was a repeat offender. Heavily insinuated that she was a repeat offender. Her being gaslit into making the video or not, her video plus the evidence from the Google Doc proves the allegations. Even if you think that the confession was brought about by gaslighting, which it may well have been, that doesn't point to the confession being not accurate. I don't know, dude. It's just hard to believe Jar when he's on record saying that he knowingly didn't go through all of the evidence at the time, acknowledging the chat logs as well, and then to hear him say that he wasn't aware of them at the time, as well as not being aware of Cine being a repeat offender, like, that categorically cannot be true.
My main understanding of morality is that hypocrisy is the most objectable sin.
The worst part about Cosby was he was a hypocrite, and I said, I don't think that was the worst part. For me, the worst part was the raping.
I also understand that nothing can get you canceled harder than a child grooming allegation that a lot of people believe. I saw how people flip-flopped on the Pyro drama, so I thought they were about to do the same with this situation. The first draft of my Cine video was originally made to bash her. That being said, I still went softer on her than most people did, and I was planning to add more to my video draft as the drama went on. I really should have focused on being more professional and objective with the sensitive information around Cine. Instead, I took her out her word, and I gave her way more charitability than she deserved. As you can hear at the end of the full call I had with Cine, I said that I would be making a new draft in defense of Cine before I talked to Jack. But yeah, I'm going to be changing my video a lot, and I'm also going to have to reach out to Jack because, you know, for all I know, you're...
Uh-oh! Have fun with that, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm going to get the video ready because knowing Jack, they're probably going to panic and try to control the narrative. Like, I thought I was being fair by doing that because I only talked to Cine after I had a draft ready to upload on her, but now I can see that was an incredibly stupid move. I was planning for Saturday to be a day where I would @ Jack on Twitter, along with a day to look over a whole bunch of videos about Cine to make sure that my information was correct. Unfortunately, the last draft that I was still in the middle of adding stuff to was leaked by Kumo, and I panicked uploaded what I had. As you can see from this screenshot, which is of my Cine video, I uploaded it unlisted on October 10th, which was a Tuesday, and the actual Cine video was planned to go live on Sunday, but then Kumo leaked this version of the video, so I foolishly decided to upload this version because the other one still wasn't finished. I don't do YouTube full time, I have a job. I have Saturdays and Sundays off, that's why I was trying to do extra research on Saturday. He got it through Romantic Goblin, as I was in the middle of asking people to look over it, it to see if there was any mistakes I needed to correct. I asked people like Misanthropony, Akumu, not to be confused with Kumo, and others if they could look over my video. I was even debating on whether I should have Chud look it over because he knew about the Cine situation.
He says all of this as if he were still deciding whether or not to post a video in which he defends a groomer. Yes, his video got leaked before it was finished, but he still went ahead and posted it. It's telling, and this is purely speculation, but it's telling that Jar doesn't post the creator's replies to his request to screen the video before he posts it. My guess is that they either never got back to him or they advised against posting it. Either way, what does this have to do with anything? A panic posting of a video defending a groomer is still posting a video defending a groomer. This doesn't soften the blow, and it doesn't add any needed context to what happened. Did you think everyone was gonna be like, oh, yes, I see it now. The video got leaked, and so you panic defended a groomer. No, dude, I see. I get it. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. The sad thing is that if Jar was really up in the air about his video, the option to let the leak happen and still figure out what to do with the leak and whether or not he wanted to post his video was totally there. Even if he was lying, he could have said something like, the video that got leaked was a draft video that I wasn't sure if I should post or not. Having been made aware of new evidence, I no longer stand by the video and I'm glad that I didn't post it. I can't believe Kumo leaked the video, and it shows that there are snakes in the commentary community that aren't to be trusted. Like, that's literally all you would have had to have said. I don't understand the panic posting, especially if none of the information changed. Like you said earlier, everyone in your corner was telling you not to post the Cinebear video, and you did it anyway. And then it gets leaked, so instead of trying to figure out the leak and maybe even trying to see what people were saying about it, you rush to finish an objectively terrible video out of panic. I don't know, dude. I mean, the first error was changing your tone on Cine, your second was doubling down, and your third was dying on this hill of Cine not being a PDF here in this video.
My roommate was also on a business trip and coming home on Saturday. I was planning to look over both docs with him very carefully. I have the worst case of dyslexia in the world, so it's very hard for me to do that myself. Yeah, my dyslexia often leads me to focus more on what I can hear rather than what I can read.
Oh no, my dyslexia makes it so I can't read. My roommate wasn't back to help me go through the document. Then don't comment on dramas that require you to be able to read if you're not going to go through the effort of getting a screen reader. There are like 10 Chrome extensions that'll do that for you. Or maybe convert the font of the document to Open Dyslexic, like I have here for my teleprompter. I'm not dyslexic, but I definitely notice a difference when I use it, but that's beside the point. You being dyslexic doesn't excuse your poor research and delivery. In fact, if your dyslexia is causing you to make so many issues, it may be time to hang up your cape and call it a quits on YouTube. Your days of being a hero to the least deserving may be over.
Now I want to make this clear. When I have people look over certain drafts of videos I've made, I'm not just going to blindly agree with whatever opinion they have. If they disagree with something in my video, I have a discussion with them about it. That being said, 9 out of 10 times it comes down to just me rewording a certain point. I can't even begin to tell you all the different opinions people gave me on how I should go about making my response to all the allegations. This is why I was considering having Chud look over the video, because I considered him to be an objective person. Granted, I went back and forth on whether I wanted him to look over it privately or on a live stream. I was also encouraged to have Chud look over my video by people like Romantic Goblin and Cinny.
You could correct me if I'm wrong, Kumo, but didn't you say the same thing on the Chud Logic stream, something she also watched but was happy with the conclusion of?
Yeah,
When you
no, I
called in
said
for
the exact same thing on a stream that you had no issues with.
I agreed to do this, even though I didn't know that much about Chud. I just knew he did a video on me a really long time ago, and out of any video I've ever seen on me, I thought it was the best one ever made. Ironically, he was covering my video on cancel culture.
Never know for what or when you'll be cancelled. Maybe you were live streaming and you suddenly screamed out the N-word. Maybe you lied about a drama which caused people to dig into your past about other dramas you have talked about. Maybe you're completely innocent and the allegations against you are false, but too many people are against you and they won't listen. Or maybe you don't have the evidence to prove your innocence. I know cancellation will come for me one day. It comes for everyone. It's not a question of if it will happen to me, it's when. Will it happen in 2025, 2022, or maybe this year? We won't know for sure until it happens.
Yeah, that video aged like a fine wine.
No, that video aged like milk. Anyway, this has much ado about basically nothing. For the last however long, he hasn't put forth anything of substance other than saying that Cinny is a groomer but not a PDF. The rest of this has just been rationalizing and contextualizing the many errors that occurred around the time of his video, but from the lens of him being a victim. I will say that he was a victim of theft when it came to his video leaking, but that's it. Oh, but he's a victim to dyslexia. Oh, he's a victim to the panic that was caused by the leak, and oh, he's a victim to being underinformed, despite all of the evidence and information that he needed was more than available. Womp womp. Every single piece of context and or rationale he gives just makes me not like him more. Anyway,
I may not fully understand myself as a person, but I do understand that I say off-the-cuff stuff all the time, and that I'm autistic. Me getting cancelled was never a question of if it would happen, but when. I was never foolish enough to believe that I would be the only autistic man on the internet to never get cancelled.
Oh, he's a victim to autism. Oh, no, you see, guys, it's because he's autistic that he made a video defending a groomer. No, you guys don't get it. See, he's autistic. Me, a man of culture who went to public school and has interacted with many people with autism, has never known one to misread a groomer allegation to then wind up siding with the groomer. Although I've never been in that situation, so who knows. But this has nothing to do with your autism. Using autism to contextualize this shows a lack of thought and reflection, and it is a really bad look. Not as bad as defending a groomer and then acknowledging that they're a groomer, but that they're not a PDF, but still pretty bad.
If my roommate came home on time, he definitely would have told me, hey, this draft sucks and you need to change a lot of things about it. This is why I didn't ask my roommate to help me debate anyone. He loves debating and he's really good at it, but he only had superficial context as to what was going on, so it wouldn't have been right for me to ask him for help. Me asking him to jump into a random stream and help me debate a topic he didn't know that much about would have more than likely made things worse for me. On top of that, with a little bit of the situation I did explain to him, he told me it was a bad idea to get involved. Yes, I absolutely regret not listening to him, and I'm so sorry for it.
Womp womp. Impatient, couldn't wait for roommate to come home, mad cuz bad, tiniest violin, skill issue, artcc diff, cringe, chud logic owns you. Like, what does your roommate have to do with any of this? You didn't do your due diligence, and even while you were waiting to go over the draft with your roommate, they still told you that this was a bad idea. I feel zero sympathy. Contextualize and rationalize as much as you want. Everything you've said so far has made you look worse, Jar.
Some people said I should have flagged or copyright strike down Kumo's video, but I'm gonna be honest here. Once a video is out there, it's kind of out there. And I've seen what happens to other YouTubers when they try to strike down a video. Long story short, it doesn't end well for them.
This point is actually apples and oranges. In 99 out of 100 cases, I would agree. Copyright claiming a video is a bad look, but only if that video is being used under fair use. He shows a few creators that I assume claimed some videos that they didn't like about them, and I'm not sure who 3 of them are, but I do recognize Illymation in the bottom right corner. For context, and this is heavily paraphrased and simplified, a channel called Think Before You Sleep made a video criticizing Illymation for saying that you can be healthy and fat at the same time. In Think Before You Sleep's video, he uses clips of her video and then responds to the claims that she's making, a lot like the video you're watching right now. Illymation then copyright claimed the video and directed her Tumblr audience to false flag Think Before You Sleep's video. Illymation was shit on by pretty much everyone except Noah Sampson, who's just the worst, by the way, and Think Before You Sleep's video in the end was reinstated. Having that context, what does any of that have to do with your situation? Someone leaked your video, Jar. You were in your full legal right to claim that video and have it struck down. It was not fair use. It was actual theft. It was a crime. Anyone criticizing you for claiming and taking down that video literally does not have the law on their side. Sure, some may think it's scummy or whatever, but there would be zero valid criticism sent your way if you were to get backlash for claiming and removing a stolen video. So don't try to sell the whole idea that you would have taken the video down if you weren't afraid of career suicide. That wouldn't have happened. I imagine that Kumo would have been heavily criticized. Also, I can't find his YouTube channel anywhere. Did something happen? But I do imagine that he would have been heavily criticized for leaking your video, and you, again, could have totally come out on top after this. Your misunderstanding of why people get upset when creators copyright claim other creators is not a valid excuse for not exercising your rights. Illymation was in the wrong for claiming Think Before You Sleep's video, and actually probably boosted Think Before You Sleep's reach. She had zero grounds for copyright striking someone's video while you absolutely did. You could have dunked on anyone giving you shit for this, but you didn't think that far ahead. This isn't the fault of the commentary community, it's yours.
Kumo uploading my video ruined a lot of things for me. It kept me from reaching out to Jack and doing further research on the topic.
Literally, no, it didn't. What, did the video grow arms and legs and hold you down and make you finish it without doing the proper research?
Even if I didn't upload my unfinished draft, I still would have received a ton of backlash. Just not as much backlash as I'm receiving now. Because of my lack of research on the situation, I did not understand how bad Cine really was, until I had a call with Himpleton. Yes, I understand he's getting canceled right now, which made my drama blow up even more, but he still explained the situation to me and helped me understand where I went wrong. So for that, I have to thank him. Apparently, Cine told Enno that it wasn't a big deal that she had a rape fetish at 11, and she also got Enno, who was 14 at the time, to read out the rape comic. And that makes the whole situation way more disturbing than I originally was led to believe. When I was 14, I did an unpaid internship for a ranger station, and one time this guy came by and we were cleaning up the canyon together, and he showed me a whole bunch of porno magazines he found while cleaning up. He was an adult, I was 14, but I didn't feel disturbed by the situation. However, he did not get me to read out the porno magazines or anything like that. When Himpleton explained this to me, that was the moment everything hit me. Oh my god, I can't believe what I have done, and I'm so sorry for it. I should have done better research.
Just a robot grooming victim confirmed. All of this was in the original Google Doc, by the way, the ones that were available well before he posted his video. In fact, he even mentions the existence of both docs in his original video.
Everybody, including Cine, seems to be in agreement that she's a groomer, but I think a lot of you want me to be as transparent as possible and go over the two really big docs. I've seen a lot of false information get spread around about this situation, and I want you all to understand exactly what's going on, because let's be honest here, most people aren't going to go through two massive docs.
If he would have taken 5 seconds to go through it, because as Jar said in his original video, even though the doc was over 100 pages long, most of it is pictures, so it's not that jarring to read. Jarring. I didn't notice that when I wrote that. He didn't need anyone explaining that Cine had shared a rape comic with the 14-year-old. It was right there for him to read all along.
Now granted, I am not happy with Himpleton leaking our call without asking me for permission first, and I'm also not happy with him saying he was pulling an op on me. However, he still did help me out a lot, so I have to thank him for that. Just to give you an example of the extra research I could have done on Cine, this doc was released on the same day Kumo uploaded my video onto his channel. Unlike the other two docs, it's short and straight to the point. If I saw this, I would have held off on uploading my video to do extra research, but because of what Kumo did, I panicked and uploaded what I had.
Or in other words, if someone else had done the research for him and put it into a nicer looking Google Doc, he would have not posted his defense of a groomer. Like, what kind of excuse is that? Yeah, man, I would have not dropped out of college if I could have just had someone take all the notes for me and walk me through all of my exams while I was taking them. What are you trying to say here?
When I uploaded the Cine video to my channel, all I could think about was how unprepared I was for this situation. I came across as very arrogant in that video due to past success of going against the mainstream commentary community opinion and coming out on top. Granted, often when I upload a video on YouTube, I get anxiety. I think to myself, oh no, this is the video that's going to get me cancelled. Hopefully it will go over well. That's why I try to hype myself up, because often when you come across as confident in a video, it makes people more willing to hear you out. Granted, it's a double-edged sword because it can make you come across as an arrogant douchebag as well.
Sorry, I didn't have anything to say. I just don't want to let the clips run super long without me chiming in, so, cringe, I guess? Cringe.
As for the way I interviewed Cine, I have no excuses for myself. I was completely unprofessional with how I handled that interview. The interview was very cringe and my questions were leading. I was thinking about redoing it, but I thought that would be dishonest. Also, I leaked out the full version of the interview, not Cine. Lyle Convoy asked me for it, and I sent it to him after thinking things over for a few days. I could have said I didn't have it anymore, but I wanted to be honest. At the end of the day, I shouldn't have even entertained the idea of making that video in defense of Cine. It was reckless, it was stupid, and I deserve to be dunked on for it.
Never a truer word spoken. Just imagine if he hadn't spent 12 minutes talking about actually nothing while trying to soften or rationalize what happened. This would have made for a pretty decent response video. Anyway,
the only part of the video that aged well is what I said about Jack. From the very beginning, I knew there was something that wasn't adding up about this drama, and it was Jack. They're getting bashed for stuff hard right now, but I know for a fact they're not going to leave the internet. They're way too addicted to it. My entire Cine video wasn't terrible, but enough takes were so bad that I shouldn't have uploaded it.
Wrong. The whole video sucked, and yes, you shouldn't have uploaded it. But that's the response to the Cine stuff. If you're interested in watching the rest of the 34 minutes that I can't be bothered to break down with you, you can watch it for yourself. Link is in the description. Provided that someone else doesn't hack his channel and get it deleted again. Although, I will play this clip from later in the video because it's actually fucking hilarious.
The next big allegation against me is kind of like the first one. I sent this image to someone who was apparently a minor at the time. I sent it because I honestly thought it was funny. Like, I think you guys can see the comedic nature of this image.
I mean, talk about subjects that you just don't need to bring up. Okay, time for the rubric. Link to a detailed rationale is in the description if you want, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so was this an apology or a non-apology? Non-apology. It seems like the only thing he's truly sorry for is that he got more backlash than he was expecting. Like, the whole video reads like an explanation rather than an apology. Full marks would have been awarded if you would have, apologized instead of choosing to die on the hill of defending a groomer from PDF allegations. 0 points. 0 out of 15 points for length. I don't think I need to explain this further, but had this been a legit apology instead of ramblings about how he got some stuff right but not others and about how he didn't do the research because he's dyslexic, he could have knocked this out in about 6 minutes, but instead, he had to waste everyone's time with a 48-minute video. I'll give him 5 out of 15 for sincerity. I think he sincerely wishes that he hadn't gotten the backlash, and I think he is sincerely sorry about not getting to the part of the Google Doc that showed evidence of Cine sending comics to minors and then conveying that Cine somehow isn't a groomer, but especially with him saying that he got some stuff right in his original video, he's clearly not sincerely sorry for the whole ordeal, just the stuff he couldn't talk his way out of. I'll give him 3 out of 15 for specificity. Despite this being a super long video, in reality, he should have just apologized for the whole thing in one go. I mean like his original video, specifically. Full marks would have been awarded if he didn't bring up a whole bunch of unrelated stuff that made the video hard to watch and even harder to follow. None of this added context served his apology and only served to distract from the matter at hand. Seriously, I had to watch it probably like 4 or 5 times to wrap my head around it. The plan moving forward should be really simple. Don't defend groomers and do your research in spite of your autism and dyslexia. I'm not sure really if Jar has learned anything from this experience other than to wait for his roommate to get home so he can do the work for him, so 0 out of 15 for plan moving forward. Which sucks actually, because this category normally is a freebie, and we're gonna give him 2 out of 15 for readiness. This thing, despite taking 4 months to make, needed more time in the oven. The lack of effort put into keeping it concise and to the point, and the lack of care for what actually needed to go in the video and what didn't, shows to me that all the time he put into the video was just focused on addressing anything he could think of, regardless of whether or not it had any place in the video. Like this. So out of 100, he scores 10 points. Nice. All right, we're at the unscripted part. Dude, I freaking hate sex pests. I hate all of this. I don't think Jar specifically is a sex pest. He's certainly weird. He's a weird dude. And he's not weird because of his autism. Plenty of people with autism aren't weird. But it seems like this guy's special interest is dying on the hill, defending groomers and PDF files, whatever. Yeah, dude. So if you're curious and you're not going to watch the rest of the video, he goes over like a couple of allegations, and I do want to dedicate a little bit of time. So he goes on Chud Logic's stream, or he goes on someone's stream. I think I watched Chud watching it. He goes on someone's stream and he's talking about how anime will not lead you to developing a rape fetish. He actually spent a good portion of his video talking about this towards the very end. So fitting that it's at the very end of mine. But in the clip, it sounds like he was saying that he did develop a rape fetish from watching Berserk. But he claims that he says he didn't. Like the wording was, I didn't develop a rape fetish from watching Berserk. And if you go back and listen to the clip, maybe I'll put it in. whatever you're listening for is what you're going to hear. So if you're listening for, I did develop a fetish from watching Berserk, you're going to hear that. And if you listen for, I didn't, you're going to hear that.
I did develop a fetish from watching Berserk. I did develop a fetish from watching Berserk.
So I will say, like, if he says he was saying that he didn't develop one, I'm like liable to believe him, because depending on what I'm listening, like if you're watching that stream clip and you're like not a Jar fan, you're gonna hear what you want to hear there. So I don't think, like, you'll hear it, it's a Discord call. It's not the greatest quality. So I will say in that respect, like, a lot of people, I think it was Kumo saying that one of Jar's objectives was to rape Cinny, and that's why they were in contact. And I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think Just a Robot is one of the weirdest motherfuckers on YouTube, and there's never a topic he's going to talk about that I'm going to take seriously. Really? Well, I'll take the topic maybe seriously, but not him. But yeah, just another example of a dude who needs to get out of his own way. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and subscribe. I did a bunch of art for that first bit, and I was going to do it throughout the whole video, and then I realized, one, this video is kind of already late, and two, that's a lot of editing, so I just didn't. But I really appreciate anyone who made it this long. So enjoy the outro song, and until next time, don't defend groomers. I don't know what to tell you. It's really that simple. You made it to the end of the video. You should subscribe, or maybe just leave a like. Leave a comment if you please, but I'd rather you subscribe. I check that shit like every day, and when that subscriber number goes up, well, my heart goes up to the sky. When you do